Welcome to the Smart Drive podcast, where driving expertise meets real talk. And Simon remembered what it's called. My name's Simon Horton, an EV enthusiast, and advanced driver to a certain level, and we'll come on to that later.
Don't do yourself down, Simon. You're top of the tree, you are. And I'm Ashley Neal. I'm a driving instructor by trade, but dabble a little bit on YouTube, here, there, and everywhere. How are you, Simon?
Excellent. I'm good, Ash. Thank you. It's been a reasonably quiet start to the week. We're recording this on a Monday night. He said having to check his calendar. So yeah, been a good first day in. Weekend was okay. How about yourself?
Yeah, it was pretty good, to be honest. Just crazy. I know. I've told you, and I've told a few of my viewers, we just rescued another puppy. So puppy life is quite hectic, but she's doing really well. She's sleeping through. She goes to the back door and wants to go out to the loo. So honestly, if you get those two things in place, you're doing all right. But hectic. So if I look tired tonight, or on this podcast, not the people are going to be able to see me if they're just listening to it, but it'll look like an absolute wreck because not getting much sleep. But anyway, I'm still here and I'm still probably talk as much gibberish as normal, Simon.
Yeah, there's worse reasons to look tired though than having a new puppy. That's really rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing the joys that they bring for me. I know not everyone's a dog person. Some people like cats, but it's been a big difference that animal into our household. I know it's nothing to do with cars or motoring or driving education, but that's my little bit of joy at the moment, Simon. The animals. However, I have, I think I said to you, just to let everyone know, I saw Simon in the week. I'd just like to give Simon and the company he works for a big pat on the back. We did mention in one of the previous podcasts that Simon does a little bit of volunteering for, was it free trade? Was it, Simon?
Fair share.
Fair share, sorry. I told you I'm tired. Apologies about that. Sorry, fair share. I went and spent a morning over in Leeds helping Simon and a few of his colleagues. And I thought it was maybe once or twice a year, but Simon's company does it once a month, and a fair few of his colleagues got involved and do get involved. So fair play. I think that's a really, really nice gesture. So well done you, Simon.
Thank you very much. And I'm glad you came over. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was thinking afterwards that maybe it was slightly unfortunate for your fellow train passengers with you going home probably smelling of cabbages, but
onions as well.
Yeah, it was only afterwards when I picked my sweatshirt up afterwards. I went, "Oh, that reeks a little bit." So
it's what it is, but it was for all good causes. So superb. But just going back to the fun thing and mentioning the animals, I think I said to you when I saw you at the end of last week that I was going to borrow a Porsche this week. It was meant to be on Wednesday, but it actually got brought forward to today. So I've been out enjoying a certain Porsche. I'm not going to let all my viewers know exactly what it was, but I've had a little bit of a smile on my face and I'm not so miserable about my driving anymore, Simon.
Well, that's one of the things I was going to talk about because I think you've been quoted a couple of times recently going, you need to get out from underneath your Liverpool rock and also not enjoying driving as much as you used to for obvious reasons. When it becomes part of a day job, I'm certain my enjoyment of driving was probably at its lowest when it was monotonous motorway driving all the time and I was doing lots of miles. Yeah. So I just wondered if you're making any progress on that, or if you just kind of written it off. But the fact that you got a smile on your face today, that probably tells the story.
And it did put a smile on my face as well. I had 3 hours with a decent motor as well. Like I said, I'm not going to give too much away. People are going to have to tune into my channel and see that video. But a little bit of enjoyment. But there's still some caveats to it. Our roads aren't well maintained enough or big enough to really get the enjoyment from the modern car. But a little bit better with it than I was, Simon. So that's all positive.
I think the last time I drove a Porsche, now this actually crosses over to your recent BMW drive, was in Wales, and I picked up an old E11, probably even prefixes 911, T, left-hand drive manual, and drove it around the South Wales Welsh mountains for a couple of days. That was an experience.
Yeah. Well, my mum did have a 911. You just said T, but my mum's was on a T plate, I think. I can't remember which generation of 911 it was, but luckily enough, as a young kid, I was insured on the thing, so she used to let me borrow it. Brilliant car, fabulous, pretty tame to some of the things we've got nowadays, but she got rid of it for one reason, Simon. Any idea? Why did she get rid of it?
Well, I can't imagine she would be frightened by their tendency to overtake the front end with the back end. I don't know. God,
just getting in and out, just that lowness and that smallness. As we all get old, we would like a little bit of comfort. And to be honest, no, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it there. Don't want to give too much away.
You are
don't
a
want to
tease.
give too much away.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about the BMW. That BMW that you had, because I think when you said you were going to get it, I say it had originally been on my list of potential options before I got the Q6. Yeah. And one of the things that put us off was the low slung car rather than a far higher up SUV. Mm-hmm. What was the wheelbase like? Is it a long wheelbase? Because they tend to put the wheels out on the corners on modern architecture.
It was, yes. But to be honest, the four-wheel steering just made it just not that much different than my Ford Focus. To be honest, I was really surprised on how well it turned. Real comfortable big thing.
We had the issue with our driveway because of the breakover angle. When we used to have the C-Class Mercedes, that wouldn't go over without scraping.
Okay.
Neighbours Audi A4 estate, the same problem. It's just a little bit of a breakover angle, but
I get you. But yeah, it was a lovely car. The cracking value as well. The i5's second hand. I think I'd spend £115,000 on it.
Yeah. But that one had all the toys, didn't it?
All the toys. I do have another video coming out shortly on the tech and all the gizmos with it as well. There's only 2 videos on that particular car. I think that was plenty with it. But
I have to give you absolute kudos for committing to letting the auto park take over, because I can't. I just can't. I get scared too quickly.
I know. I just went, go on then. Just have a go. I don't think any of those auto park features are particularly good. Have you had any? Well, if you're already saying that you wouldn't let it take over, I don't suppose. Have you got? I'm suspecting you'll have it on your Audi. Have you used it? If you've got it?
Well, I've had it on quite a lot of cars. I mean, going back to the Tesla Model S days. I'll tell a little story about that in a second. The Jag I-Pace had it. The Kia EV6 had it, and that would also do summon in and out of parking spaces. And the Q6 has got it, but I don't know.
Don't use it.
I just don't get on with it.
No, me neither.
The Tesla days were funny when I did a video. I'll have to find the video. It's probably somewhere way back in my channel from 2014 or something like that. I did a video of using the auto park in some sort of town centre car park, and I sat in the car and I went, oh yeah, this is great, and reversed in and I went, yeah, it's all right, it's brilliant, that can't get out, because it had put me in a space that was so tight. It was brilliant. It was almost like it approved the point, going, no, I can get in this space, and then there was no way I could open the door to get out. It was like,
oh, superb. Those systems, I think to be honest, if you don't have that base skill of being able to park a car, I personally don't think you should be in charge of one. If you, I suppose though, it does allow you to take your attention off the actual act of doing it if the car's going to help you out with it, and then observe around. So I suppose it does enable certain people to still be able to drive safely in that situation. But to be honest, you've got a license, you should be able to do it, in my opinion. And I suppose it's like the pilot still needs to land the plane, even though it does it itself, Simon.
Yeah. Perhaps that's a future episode where we could go and sit in a busy car park and observe people's skills, you know. And and you do see some sights, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. But the joys of driving different cars is probably it's opened up my eyes a little bit more to the modern tech that is available, because I don't know about yourself, Simon. What's the average lifespan of people? Not lifespan, average time that people keep their cars for? That would be an interesting question if someone could answer that as well. I
was pondering on this the other day, particularly because I've done the statistics of EV car sales for the last God knows how many years now.
Yeah.
And also done as a parallel track the used car market for that. What we were expecting, the industry was expecting, was an uptick in the used car sales about 3 years after there was an uptick in the new car sales, because there's a lot of people keeping them for 3 years and then putting them through the market. That's not been the case. A lot of things, COVID had an impact, but a lot of people are keeping them a lot longer, whether that's particular for EVs, but from new, I think the people are hanging on to them just a bit longer than they used to. So
interesting.
It'd be interesting one to find out.
Yeah, it would. My mindset is I do not want any hassles with a car, so I'm in a fortunate position. I'm able to buy new. I think if it was a personal purchase, I wouldn't do. I think I'd probably buy 6 to 12 months old, and try and take a little bit of that depreciation out of it. But I like to keep mine within manufacturer warranty, because for me it's a business tool, and if it's off the road, it's a problem. And I think the best and easiest and quickest way to get a vehicle fixed is direct through the manufacturers most of the time. So that's my way of thinking. But I do think people do keep the cars a little bit longer, as you say.
Well, we're in a perfect example of that. We would normally have been a 3-year turnover on both of our vehicles. We would normally keep them 3 years, turn them over. Carla's car is now 6 years old. It's coming up for 6 years old.
Yep.
And we took that decision. It was obviously, it had done a lot less miles than we originally anticipated when it came up to its 3-year anniversary. But because the warranty is 7 years on those Kias, I went, just keep it. There's been nothing wrong with it. And he said the fact that it's going into the garage this week because there's something wrong with it. But these things happen.
It's still under warranty.
Exactly, it's still under warranty. And to your point, you book it in, they look at it, they go, yeah, it needs a thing. We'll order the thing, bring it back in when it's there. Job sorted. The interesting backstory to that is we know the process going through then to get the approval from the warranty administrator, because that's who Carla works for.
Okay. I get, I understand. I did have a few problems with my Golf down those lines, as well as getting approval for some of the warranty work or some of the diagnostic work that when they were trying to fix it and sort it. That was a bit of a ball ache through Volkswagen. But again, a little bit of information for people. If you do purchase a vehicle and it's faulty and the garage aren't able to fix it, you can reject that vehicle. The process isn't quite so straightforward, I don't think. Luckily enough that the garage that I purchased my Volkswagen Golf from, they'd realised that they couldn't fix it and just offered to buy it back, effectively just giving me the money that I owed on it. I didn't leave a massive deposit anyway, so it was just sort of like, give it back to them and then start again. So I was quite lucky. But I know sometimes people can go through the mill trying to get cars sorted, but you can reject them. Have you had any experience with that at all, Simon, or do you know anyone apart from me giving me Golf back who's had a similar story?
No, I've not had any experience myself, but because I'm one of those people that will join the forums and the news groups and all the rest of it, whenever I get a new model, you always get the people on there. The noise tends to come from the people that have got the problems, and you do tend to hear a lot of the stories then that people trying to reject them and see what the process goes through. There's an interesting nuance to it that when it's your vehicle and you financed it, then that becomes easier. When it's leased or it's gone through a purchase scheme like an NHS or a salary sacrifice scheme at work, that's harder. But it's not impossible, and the rights are still the same. It's just you're one step removed from having that right.
Yeah, absolutely. My lad's he's just changed jobs. My eldest, he's just changed jobs. He had a Tesla on salary sacrifice, and think he's just decided to pull the plug on that, and he's just bought himself a Polestar 2, a second-hand one. He's got a decent bargain on it as well, Simon. So the used market on EVs is you get some decent cars for, I was going to say, not a lot of money. Still a lot of money, but not compared to buying new.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't shout about it too much, though, because I've got my eye on my next car.
Have they found you one, Simon? Yeah?
No, I'm going completely different now. No,
Lamborghini Urus, like you said, you love.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That would fall into the divorce category, which is one of my bullet points on my list, so I'll talk to that. There's been a soft launch of a model that is definitely on my shopping list for next time around. We're not talking next week. We're probably not talking next year. But the Rivian R2 is coming to the UK.
I know the Rivian, is it like the Hummer truck? But are they doing like an SUV type that's coming over? Is that the one you're talking about? Is it, Simon?
Yeah, so they started off with the R1, which was the pickup truck, which is like Ford F-150 size.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really intriguing what they did with that, and then they've built on top of that. They brought out a big SUV version, which again was American market, and then about 12 months ago they did a kind of teaser launch of their next smaller models. I mean, smaller in the context of American size means probably European size. So I was just watching to see what happened, and the latest pre-production model that was brought into some of the motor shows a couple of weeks back, they've committed that they will bring it to the UK.
Interesting. Interesting. Was the Rivian the one that, to remember rightly, it had sort of like a storage compartment that went all the way through the vehicle? Yeah. Was that the one? Yeah.
I
did see it.
They're very good at packaging. And if you actually look at the team that's involved in it, they've got a lot of excellent British engineers that are on the team, even though they're American based. They stole a lot of people from Lotus and places like that to get the chassis engineering done. They're a good story. It might never happen, but it is definitely one of those things that's piqued my interest outside of the normal marks.
Do you think, just on that as well, and it's a discussion I've had with one of my lads who's into the computers and artificial intelligence, do you feel as though car manufacturing now has moved over to software engineers who build cars rather than car engineers who dabble in a little bit of computer stuff? Do you think we've reached that tip over point where it's probably gone the other way? Especially think Tesla have been really strong on that side of it, and I'm suspecting a lot of the Chinese market have done the same. Do you think it's shifted to that side of it, the people who have the biggest input within the car manufacturing process?
No.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you why. And this actually plays directly to the Rivian story. So the Rivian software architecture, so basically the platform that everything sits on, but the modules that control all the bits and pieces, the battery management, all that sort of stuff, it's all run from one control module. Okay. And that's unique. Every other manufacturer still cobbles together lots of different control modules. You'll have a chassis control module, you'll have an engine control module, you'll have an MMI and all for your multimedia entertainment, and then they'll make them all work together.
Yeah.
If you're a software engineer, you don't do that because that's hard. Every time you've got an interface, that's hard. You would be much better off having one system running and running lots of different services off that called microservices.
Yeah. So
to answer your question, if software engineers were in charge, they wouldn't build cars like they do.
Interesting.
And it is interesting, and particularly is that Volkswagen, for their next set of ID models, so probably ID 7 and beyond,
Yeah.
I think is the next model. But anyway, the next range, they've bought the Rivian architecture.
Interesting.
So they've decided they're doing it better. We're not going to bother trying to build our own. Let's just buy in the best. So
that was effectively the problem with my Golf, going back to that as well. It was just all the systems. One was having a problem. It was just that's having a problem now, and then that's having a problem now, and it just kept on just kicking off here, there, and everywhere. All the assistance systems used to beep up on the dashboard, and the engine would start. Oh God, it was a nightmare, and it shocked me. Such a big company could put together an absolute pile of bolts so badly. But
and that's it. They're great when they work all together in harmony. But this is not a new problem. The worst one I ever had for working on something like that was, did I ever tell you that about the Range Rover that I resurrected? A friend of mine had let it go to rack and ruin sitting on his farm, and I did a deal because I needed a car, so I borrowed it and said I'll restore it back to get ready, and then you can sell it and make some money on it. And it was a 53 plate Range Rover. I can't remember the moniker, but it was at the weird time where Land Rover was going to be doing very successful. Then they weren't being successful. Then they were sold to Ford for a bit, and then Ford sold them to BMW, and they went round the room. So what you actually had in this Range Rover was a vehicle that was designed to have Ford running gear. Then they sold it to BMW. So BMW went, oh, well, we'll just throw one of our engines in it. But we haven't got a gearbox that will work with that. So we'll have to use a gearbox from somewhere else. And then we've already got the chassis control modules that are already for the Range Rover. You could literally look underneath it, and there was wiring that was joining up in different colors and all sorts of stuff, and trying to get those systems to work together. And as soon as one failed, that was it. The car just went, no, I'm out.
No,
give up now. That was the one where if you ever had a flat battery in that car, you couldn't get in it.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. There was no physical override on the locking system. So if it ever locked you out, spoiler, it locked me out.
Smash
no, you could do, or you could reverse engineer a charge. So remove the number plate lamp with a screwdriver and apply a little 12-volt charge across the bulb, and that will give you just enough tickle to open it up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, okay. I think it was the thieves that discovered that one initially, but it was helpful when you got a flat battery.
Previous career, Simon?
Yeah. Not quite, but yeah, being able to get into your own car is quite important sometimes, isn't it?
You're not wrong. Interesting.
I'll talk about divorce cars. I sent you a car I wasn't allowed to buy months ago. This is how long this has been on the list. So I for viewers and listeners, I spotted a vehicle that was being sold, and I showed it to my wife, and she went, "No." All right. Oh, but no. So I sent it to Ashley and went, "We should buy this." And it was a Volvo ambulance.
Oh. Super.
Not in your posh of Volvos, but it was a Volvo ambulance that was sitting on, I think it was sitting on Croft Circuit. It had been used as a motorsport ambulance or something like that. But I thought, I did a dodgy paint Photoshop job on it as the Smart Drive podcast mobile studio. Is there anything where your good lady wife has said to you, no, absolutely not?
No, to be honest, Liz is good as gold. She'll roll with it. She'll not say no, but then she'll convince me quietly, softly, strongly over a long period of time, and then I just go, "Our sound, no, is what it is." But I've done the 2-car thing. I had the Tesla, I had the Golf together. I had the old Volvo recently. There's just not enough room where we live, Simon, to store anything. And even I was laughing with Liz today. Where my motorbike used to sit in my garage is now the pet store or food storage area. You can imagine how much pet food we have now with all our animals. So no, I just usually say yes to things and just get told no for things and just get on with it. That's just me.
Yeah. It's not for the quiet life, but well, all right, it's for the quiet life sometimes. But
it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good effort. Just on, you mentioned motorsport there. Simon, I'm just letting everyone know. Simon mentioned something that would be a real interest about Jacob. One of Simon's. Did you say Jacob's dad? I'll let you tell the story, Sam, about about this kid.
Let's rewind to 20 plus years. We've talked about my trip across America in the Westfield sports car a few times. Well, I'd known Barry and his wife Lou for a while before that, but they were on that trip. Barry was the one that built a Westfield sports car specifically for that trip, but put a small block Chevy V8 in it. Yeah. There's no reason why, he just did, and it was a beautiful piece of engineering. But that's not the reason for the conversation. That was well before Jacob was on the scene. But I can remember about 10 years ago being at Alton Park. Yeah, actually, I do like motorsport, and I do still go and watch the racing, despite being an EV enthusiast. But the young lad Jacob there was probably 4, razzing around on a balance bike, like, no fear whatsoever, taking it to the highest possible part of a hill, going down the hill, weaving in and out of the crowd. I'm sure they were really pleased with that, and sliding around on the gravel. And I just said to Barry, I said, that lad's got no fear. What are you going to do with it? And he went, I got him into a kart trial in a couple of weeks. That was the start of it. And he's gone on from strength to strength within the karting community. In fact, he was crowned the junior Rotax world champion at the age 13. And has, well, no too fine a point on it. He's the only driver ever to win every championship he's entered. He's got proper talent. It's not just a lack of fear. He's got proper talent. So that's where we got to with him. But this year, he's trying to step up and go into Ginetta Juniors. Mm-hmm. Proper cars at age 14. And not only could I not be prouder, but I want to try and do my bit to help them along. Not only is it a big step up in terms of moving from cars to cars, but it's a big step up in terms of the finances. So now they're looking for sponsors. Yeah. So to all our viewers and listeners, if you've got any contacts within industry, or you yourselves are in a position of wanting to get in early, this is the kind of lad. He's on the same trajectory as Lando Norris was, but he hasn't got a billionaire dad. So the family needs some support. So if you've got anybody that's interested or could be interested in a real VIP treatment as a corporate sponsor, or if you just as an individual you want to chuck a few £100 at them to get your name written on the spoiler, then do it. Now's the time to get in early before it becomes too expensive to get involved.
And my offer still stands as well, Simon. I spoke to Simon about this the other day when we met up. And my offer still stands. I'm gonna sponsor him to have my YouTube channel on the back of his car. All I would like to say on this situation, you think how Formula One drivers are big business in sales and marketing. You think if there was a company out there who started this relationship with this young kid, and it probably would be a little bit of a gamble. I'm thinking of it in lines with footballers. He's not definitely going to make it, but you think if you start a decent relationship with this kid now with a little bit of sponsorship, it could prove dividends going forward. So myself and Simon had a little talk about this, but I did want to make sure that we mentioned it on this podcast. So support Jacob if you can. I'm sure Simon will be able to give us a little bit of information and even some links that I'll leave in the description of my video as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Get in touch if you need anything, and we've got the full prospectus here we can pass on. So that's all good stuff. So thanks for bringing that up, Ash. I am proud as punch of the lad, even to get this far.
Absolutely,
it's exciting times ahead, and And if that means that we get to go to one of the events, yay.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got some other big news as well, haven't we, Simon?
Have we gone all professional like?
I think so. Yeah. Someone said that we've actually got a website now for this podcast, haven't we, mate?
We have. We've decided to stop faffing around. So we're now launching the Smart Drive Podcast .co.uk website is available, and that does mean, ladies and gentlemen, that if you want to get in touch with us, you can do directly at the email address hello@thesmartdrivepodcast.co.uk. And for those of you that are scribbling for a pencil, that is hello@thesmartdrivepodcast.co.uk.
Super. Yeah, and we'll try and answer whatever we can, or even if you want to, ask some questions, chuck them in. It gives us ideas of what people want to hear and want us to discuss, and try and gather some further information on.
Absolutely. Question. Unusual.
Is this your learner driver question, Simon, that you want to ask me? We're going to save that one. We're going to deal with that one today. I'm interested in that one.
Oh yeah, we'll get on to that one. Well, we'll preface that one with this question.
Okay.
Unusual driving instructor cars. And I'm only asking because there was a Facebook post. It was pre-Christmas now, I think, and where somebody was saying when they were learning to drive, their driving instructor, I presume this was in the 80s, had an XR2.
Mm-hmm.
And that driving instructor was the most popular driving instructor in town because everybody wanted to drive his XR2.
Yep.
No, you've gone Golf GTI, Focus ST, etc., etc. But what's the most unusual, or let's go with unusual. Most unusual driving instructor car you've come across from your time in the trade?
It seems to, in Liverpool, in my area, it seems not necessarily everyone's competed, because it always seems me just buying the most stupid thing. But I've been well and truly outdone, in my opinion. Kev, a guy who I know well, I helped train to get through his driving instructor qualification, has got an M135, one of the new ones. Don't know how he's going to ensure that, but he has done. And there's another guy. It's actually there's a big company called Chris Kelly's driving school in Liverpool. It's his lad. He drives a lovely performance Polestar as well. It's got all the Brembo discs and everything, and the yellow seat belts. So that's a fab motor. There's a few crackers flying about. There's another guy who's got a Ford Explorer, which is quite an interesting, unusual car for a driving school vehicle. But to be honest, I think because we spend that much time in the car, people have just gone, well, I'm going to get something I actually like. Driving lesson prices have gone up. I say that with a little grimace on my face. They've gone up so much since COVID that driving instructors now can afford a more expensive vehicle. And I say that prices have gone up with a grimace on my face because I think some people have taken a mick with it, but it has allowed driving instructors to buy, some decent motors. I don't think it's a massive selling point as it used to be, though, Simon, because there's that many instructors who, even a run-of-the-mill driving instructor driving an Audi A3, do you get where I'm coming from? Where it used to be, I had one 16 reg, I think mine was, and there was no one else driving an Audi A3 at the time as a driving instructor, but it seems as though everyone's gone down that route now. I don't know whether that's good or bad. I'm not sure. What's your thoughts on it?
I don't even know if that might be a Liverpool thing, because I was asking, because it's still, for me, whenever I see the box or the plates on a car, it just tends to be a Yaris. There's so many Yarises, whatever, multiples of those.
Small Toyotas.
Or something of that ilk. I'd never see anything interesting. So, yeah, maybe you've started a trend in Liverpool and everybody's now trying to one up you.
Possibly. I've just, I've bought my Volvo. That's going to be an interesting one. But because I've gone for the big roof, I can't have a normal roof box. So it's actually at the side of me. So I've had to, and I haven't even prepped this. It's just sat here. So I've had to go for a sort of like a top hat type roof box. So it only fits on one side. So that came the other day. But so I can't have the big long one. I suppose it's going to be a little bit more aerodynamic as well. But yeah.
You've just prompted me, so before we go back to my long list. We're going to France again this year.
Yep.
Taking the Audi and the dog and all the accoutrements that go with that. But we're also taking something else as well. We're taking a 15-year-old niece and all the things that a 15-year-old niece comes with. Yeah. So I've got to put the roof box on because there's no way I'll get all the stuff in the car. Roof box not used for years. In fact, I think the last car it was on there was a Mercedes estate. So anyway, I pulled it out of the loft space, got the roof bars out. Of course, the roof bars don't fit because they were designed for the Mercedes. But I was thinking, okay, I'll order these. I went to order a set of roof bars for the Audi, and it gave me, these are the ones for your car, and they were 2 different lengths.
Yep.
It's a bit odd. And I thought, no, it's not a bit odd because my car's wider at the back, isn't it? It goes wider at the back. Yeah. No, the roof rails are the other way around. They're wide at the front. Yeah, I know that. You confused face. I was like, what? Yeah, it's true. I got one of the roof rails that I've got my existing ones, put them in the position at the back, and then moved it to the front, and it was considered it's short by an inch or 2. So the way that they've designed it to make it look proportional is that the roof rail gap is narrower at the back than at the front by a good 20 mil.
I think our old 59 Reg Audi Q7 was exactly the same.
Oh, right. Maybe it's an Audi thing.
It may be an Audi thing. Don't know. But it's something says, I can't tell for sure. I couldn't rubber stamp it. But when you said different lengths, I've just got a picture in my mind putting bicycles on the top of one of our cars. And that was the one that we spent a lot of time going over to North Wales, Llandegla, with the kids. But those roof boxes, even though I'm buying an estate with 2 dogs, if me and Liz go away anywhere, we might need one as well. Are they easy enough to fit on as well, Simon? Are they? They just sort of like clamp onto the roof bars and...
Yeah. I mean, the simple ones, and I think mine's a Halfords one, but it's actually a Tula rebadged. It's just 4 U-bolt clamps that clamp it around, and you just adjust where it goes through the box according to where your roof rails are sitting, get the balance right, or if it's as it would be on this car, where the roof rails are is fixed position anyway, so you just move it around together.
Is loading an important thing with those roof boxes as well? And do things have to be tied down? Never done it myself, couldn't tell you. It's just my mind working about the loading of it, and you wouldn't want things really moving. Have you got to pack it out full, or is the little areas that you do have to tie things down?
I've never tied anything down. What I have got in the roof box, which I only remembered when I pulled it out, is a series of like insulation polystyrene tiles. Oh, okay. So they become the packing around everything that you've got in there, just to make sure that you kind of, even if it's not full, it's nearly full. So things aren't sliding and moving around. To be perfectly honest, the only times we've ever used it, it's been full. But that's what you tend to do, because if you can get stuff up there that you're not going to need on a regular basis, get it out of the cabin and into there. It's not going to make any difference to you. So that's my next challenge.
That learner question's been, I purposefully not answered you about your was it, are you on a beer? Hope that's good effort. It's a Monday night, Simon.
I know. It's only one day away from a weekend.
You can see what I normally drink though, can't you?
Yeah.
Brand awareness there. No, mine's just a lemonade. But go on then. What's this learner question that's interested me, to be honest? What is it something that you don't know, or is it something you've been asked? I'm intrigued, to be honest.
So if we're talking the learner question, this goes back to Jacob.
Yeah.
So Jacob's 14 and he's jumping into a car.
Yep.
I wanted to know how he learned to drive.
Yeah.
How do you think?
It's got my sister taught her kids. She used to have a horse, and down at the stables where she kept a horse, it was through private gates, so it's not got public access. And she used to let the kids drive down the paths and bits and bobs. And I taught them all, and they were all brilliant straight from the off. They all had that knack of adjusting the feet properly, and it just makes such a big difference. Jacob must have just been let loose and gone. He must have had a little bit of tuition about you do this, you do that, but it just sounds as though his instinct has just enabled him to suss it out and work things out. There's very few people like that nowadays who can sort of like feel what they should be doing and make adjustments and think rationally to go, hang on a minute, I've just done that. The car's stalled. Why did that happen? I'll do it differently. He's probably just one of those kids who just goes bing, and just picks it up by his own mistakes.
Yeah. So he did one of the early driver supermarket car park things a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And his dad said, he just picked it up and that was fine. And then jumping into the Ginetta, he had, I think it was a half day with a race instructor to show him how to convert his racecraft from karting into cars. But apart from, as you said, a couple of stalls setting off, it's just become second nature to him. Now, the thing is, in Ginettas, it's a sequential box. You're not using the clutch to change, and you're still left foot braking. So, as his dad says, it's going to be really interesting when he starts to drive properly and has to use his right foot to stop.
Yeah. I portray that, or I have done on occasions. I haven't done it for a little while, braking with my left foot. And even there, I have to be very, very careful because instinctively you push it in the same way you do the clutch pedal. But he will be doing that in totally different scenarios than he will be doing on the road. You know, he's trying to get the car to rotate by using that brake at certain points. I don't know. If you can, I'm not being funny, if you can left foot brake, you can just drive a car normally, surely.
You must be able to. It's got to be some sort of skill, hasn't it?
It'll be an interesting one. And just to let everyone know as well, I said to Simon, I'd really love to teach him to drive. I'd really love to just go through that experience of seeing what he's like with his controls and actually how much I would have to help him out with certain bits. It's an interesting one. So make sure, you know, when you tell him Ashley will sponsor you, make sure as long as Ashley can teach you to drive properly.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'll pass that on. The other driving instruction story that came out recently links back to one of your videos. So I can't remember under what title it was, but you commented on somebody taking a video call using sign language when they were in traffic.
Yep.
And that created some comments, I'm sure it would.
Yeah.
But the article I was reading, not reading, was posted on BBC Yorkshire as the other end of the scale, where somebody learning to drive who is deaf taught their driving instructor, BSL, British Sign Language, in order to help with the communication between driver and pupil. And that got me thinking about how we could, or what reasonable adjustments we have to make for people learning to drive who have various impediments. Is that something you've come across?
Very much so. Dyslexia is the most common one, if I was honest, where lefts and rights obviously get mixed up, and simply the examiners can help out as well, where they'll say at the end of the road turn left and hold the left hand up, or at the end of the road turn right and hold the right hand up. That can help because it's a direction and you're showing them which way you're going to go. There are many things. You should be altering your level of instruction. For example, even people who may suffer with ADHD, there's certain things that you can do to try and aid their learning. Sometimes parking in and just letting them just settle so the head's not here, there, and everywhere with everything. Because if you're trying to teach someone or talk about a certain topic with someone while they're still operating the car, we've honestly, it was your good self, Simon, who introduced me to the term cognitive overload.
Yeah.
And you've just got to be really mindful. At the end of the day, ask them. That's what I would say. Would there be anything I could do to help you? Because I don't think instructors, me included, are knowledgeable enough about all the things that people suffer with to have the answers all the time. And I think the best person to actually ask is the student most of the time.
Yeah.
Sorry to sit on the fence a little bit with that one, but that
No.
client-centered approach is what I would say.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? Have you had any experience even with what you do, Simon, dealing with people with certain things that they have to cope with on a daily basis?
Yeah, and certainly from a work point of view, and we talked about this, I think, on our initial cognitive load discussion, where when we're setting up teams, what we want are diverse cultures within teams. And with diverse cultures becomes people who are on certain spectrums and certain scales and have diverse needs, and you have to make reasonable adjustments for them in any way, shape, or form that is necessary. Because if you don't, then you're not going to get those diverse opinions, and you're not going to get the people that can work out problems in a different way, which is ultimately what we want. So we try and encourage that as a standing response, is that it's not a barrier to entry to come into our work. In fact, your different way of thinking or your different approach to solving a problem or communicating is a benefit to us. Otherwise, we just get a normalized opinion. So it becomes, I wouldn't say it's the norm. And you've had a little insight into our organisation. We try to be community focused as well, but we are always trying to push that envelope a little bit. But it did get me thinking, I mean, particularly from a driving point of view, that it hadn't occurred to me that of all of the impairments and disabilities, deafness is the one that is just accepted from a driving point of view. You don't even have to declare deafness of any range as part of a driving application. You can just get on and do.
Whereas as well, listening is one of my 6 main skills that I think are imperative to be driving to a high standard. So it would be really, really interesting for me to sit in with someone who is deaf and try and understand how they manage the car's speed, because even looking down at the speedo constantly to keep an eye on the speed is something a lot of people do. But I actively discourage it. I don't think it's anything different than actually looking at a mobile phone, because people with good hearing, what they do instinctively is sort of like just have it in the background and just manage it with their ears so they can spend the time looking at the things that they need to look at. But it's amazing. It's amazing how people with deafness, are able to cope so easily and so well. There's a guy who works and operates near me. Big shout out to John, Anfield School of Motoring. He does specialise in teaching deaf people. He does sign. So if there's anyone in the Merseyside area, give John a call. He lives very, 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 very close to me as well. I don't know his number off the top of my head, but I'm sure you can find him on the interweb somewhere.
Brilliant. Yeah, and the irony is not lost on us that we're doing this with a predominantly audio podcast as well. But we do make sure that we load the transcripts up to make things available. So we're not just relying on the interpretations of the various platforms to try and work out what Ashley and I are saying. I do go through the transcripts and try and correct its interpretations of the Bolton and the Liverpool accents and at least try and make some sense of this gibberish.
You're not wrong. right.
Yeah.
But it must be really, really difficult, to cope with driving. You may remember it, I went to go and see Jack, one of my viewers and subscribers,
Yeah.
in his adapted vehicle. That was such an interesting hour or so I spent with him.
It's
But
like Rochdale,
oh God, where
somewhere up
was
there,
he?
wasn't it?
I
Yeah.
think it was, yeah. I think it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, it was.
But superb. The adaptations that they can make to vehicles to make them accessible to all. I haven't seen any electric vehicles. Did you know if electric vehicles are easily adaptable? I'm suspecting they are because the adaptations are mechanical to the pedals, and I don't know. They're
That's a good
generally
question.
hmm,
Hmm.
might be something that we have a little delve into and try and
Yeah.
get an answer for. Or if there's any of our viewers and listeners who know the answer to that one, it'd be really interesting for me. Yeah, and just on that as well. You asked the question about have I had any experience, with people with disabilities? I can honestly say I've probably learnt the most from my viewers and subscribers in the comment section um, over the years
Hmm.
out of anything else. Even I used to say to people, "Oh, don't look at the giveaway line when they're staring down coming up to junctions."
Yeah.
And someone corrected me on it. They said, "Don't if you use it and then that person does, it then becomes another negative." So even something simple like changing your terminology to try not to as opposed to don't. If
Hmm.
that person then does look at the giveaway line, it's only try not to. So if they do look at it, it's not deemed as much of a negative as if you'd have said don't in the first place.
Hmm.
So it's really interesting for me how good driver instructors will alter their terminology to make sure, that to aid people with certain things like ADHD and autism to help them feel better in that situation.
Yeah. And and you can't discount the wealth of knowledge that's on your subscriber group. And it's huge.
Yeah.
There's some of the conversations that even I observe or get involved with in the comment section. You got a wealth of knowledge there to pull up on.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
And they
Absolutely
are
brilliant.
a real good bunch as well. I used a little summing up on a video that I've just put together, to be honest. And it's selfishness is a really poor trait that I absolutely despise. And I think it's one of the biggest problems that we have on our roads when people are selfish. But I would probably class most of my viewership as selfless. They're the other side of the scale. They want to do things to help others and to make the situations better. And that's what we need to push to get not just driving better, but everything better as well, Simon.
Yeah. Yeah. I will close the conversation down on deafness with one observation that occurred to me, considering the topic of conversation we had about when I was driving your car around the flash to overtake, and whether that's useful to people when you're about to overtake them, whether a flash of the lights would be useful. Hey,
Yep.
driver in front could be deaf. So always worth considering that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
How
As
many
usual,
how many of our points have we actually got through, Simon? Have we got through probably one or two of about 10 as 10 as normal?
3, it's 4 of a possible 12, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
we do ever so well. And we're not stretching this out on purpose, everyone, as well,
No, not at all. Not at all. Ashley and I have always said that if we dry up on conversation, then we will knock this on the head. But so far,
Yep.
we are 11 episodes in, and we're not drying up on conversation. And every time somebody gets involved and sends us some feedback or commentary and provides us with a new question to ask or something like that, it further bolsters us. So,
Absolutely.
keep it going. Absolutely keep it going. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on today, whenever people are listening to this?
Oh, yes, it's a bit of a beg. If
Oh.
this is okay, you don't mind me, Simon. I've got 3 months until the London Marathon. I need to raise a few quid. I've set myself a large target of £25,000 and I've raised about 5.5 up to now. I understand that people will generally donate the closer I get. But in a similar scenario to what Simon mentioned about young Jacob, there's any corporate companies out there who would like to sponsor me, what I will also do as well, I will continue that push for your company for the rest of the calendar year. If you're able to sponsor me, even just up to the London Marathon, like I said, I will continue that support. We're trying to do it for a decent charity. The James Bulger Memorial Trust gives support to young kids who have had hardship through crime, bullying, or hatred. And in a similar way, I'm a big softie with animals because animals have just been put in that situation. I'm obviously a big softie with kids as well. Kids generally have no choosing in these situations that they're stuck in. So for me, that's one of the main reasons why I've decided to run the London Marathon. And it's hard as hell. I ran a half marathon in a week and I couldn't walk. Couldn't walk for a couple of days after, but it shouldn't be easy. But if there's anyone who could help me out, it would be much appreciated because I've got about 12 weeks and I've got a right few quid to try and raise. So sorry for that beg, Simon, but
No.
At the end of the day, it's a big part of my life at this moment. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to mention it.
No, absolutely. It's a worthwhile charity, extremely worthwhile charity. And even if you're not charity minded and you just want to pay a few quid to see Ashley in pain, that's also worthwhile.
Well, yeah. I will do a couple of little updates on our running. It's just pretty boring now if we do the same thing. I've done 10 miles today, done 15 miles the following week. It's pretty boring, but I am going to try and get up to the James Bulger Memorial Trust's lodge to show how they give support to these youngsters. It's up in Preston. I'm going to try and get up there as well at some point and just give people a little bit more information, but any support will be much appreciated. I will leave my Just Giving page links in the description also.
Yep, fabulous. Okay. With that one, we'll leave that fresh in people's minds, I think. As always, feedback is welcome and comments are obviously well received. And now you have a brand new email address, which comes to both myself and Ashley. I cannot guarantee which one of us will read it first. Spoiler, it'll be me.
Sorry, Simon, don't read your emails. I get hundreds of emails every single day. And sometimes it's this. I tell you what, do you know how many meals I've had today? One.
Is this going to be a sub story?
No, a little, yeah. I haven't even had my tea yet. I'm starving.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh, Liz is shouting at me. That was a little bit unfair.
It's there waiting for
me. It's waiting for me. It's only because we're doing this, everyone. But anyway.
Brilliant. All right. Well, on that note, mate, I shall let you go and have your tea. Thank you as always, and this has been an absolute pleasure. And we'll speak to you on the next one. Thank you for that.
Take care, everyone. See you soon.
Bye-bye.